All right, so we started our chapter visits in District 9. That was like a really long time ago. September 30th.
It really does.
We started that.
Dang. It also kind of just feels like yesterday, though, that we started chapter visits. I remember Austin and our first visit was at Wilson Creek. That was a fun visit. We couldn't find the ag building at first, so we kind of went on a wild goose chase around the school.
It's a really pretty school, though. I really enjoyed it there. It's a very cool school. Yeah.
And
yeah, I remember. Oh,
nope, go.
I remember I was with Hannah Ruth that week, and we were so nervous, and it was just a really long, stressful week of trying to make sure that we knew what we were doing, or at least looked like we knew what we were doing. And then we ended in Odessa, and it was just a really chill visit, and we stayed with a really nice lady there, and it was just super relaxed. And I just remember feeling such a relief, okay, we survived.
That was truly such a great homestay. We stayed with Jan, and she got us goodies and stuff. It was so awesome. It was a pretty good week. I'm not gonna lie, but it was very stressful, and to end it like that was awesome.
Yeah, Mara and I, during that week, we had our first visit in Ephrata, and so District 9 was my home district, so we stayed at my house. And if I remember right, my pickup broke down, and it was kind of a mess. But for our first visit, it was pretty fun.
Yeah, I remember we did a teamwork workshop, and we got to do these paper airplanes, and they loved that. They really enjoyed making those.
Yeah, that was a fun time. And then all of us that weekend we got done, and I think it was me, Kendall, and Abby. We went to D2 camp, and then the rest of you guys went to D3 camp that weekend.
Oh my gosh, was that week?
I forgot about that. We booked it all the way from one side of the state all the way to the other.
Yeah, we got there kind of late.
Driving with Austin on the west side, I feel like he'd never driven over there, and he's like, this is the longest drive ever. I'm like, this is just a piece of cake right now for me. So used to this.
Austin and I had some pretty good food in D9 too. I think we had barbecued hamburgers at Wilson Creek, and then on Friday, we ended our week at Connell, which was a really good visit. And we had homemade tamales for lunch, which were delicious.
That sounds so good.
And I tried to eat the corn husk on the tamales because they were my first tamales ever.
And they said, no, you don't eat that. And you're like, oh, no, it's fine.
The next district that we went to was D6, I think.
Yes, yeah. D6, my home district.
Yeah, that was a good week. I was with Mara, and I remember we went to, I think it was Tushy, and for some reason, hardly any, students were there, and so we were really nervous. We're how are we going to facilitate with just 2 people? But it ended up being really fun, and we had, a lot of good conversations and just kind of hung out with the members that day.
Yeah, I was with Austin that week. And it was a really fun week. We started off in Pullman. We got to go to Dayton and stuff. Some of the chapters, well, obviously not Dayton because I live 30 minutes from Dayton, but some of the chapters that maybe I'm not super close with in D6, I'm really super close to Oakesdale and Colton and stuff like that. But I went to a lot of the chapters that I wasn't close to, so that was really fun to connect with those members that I didn't necessarily know, but they were from my home district, so that was super cool.
I think that was homecoming week for a lot of schools. So Devin and I had a lot of homecoming assemblies. We had Walla Walla. At Oakesdale, they had a pretty cool homecoming assembly that we were a part of. And then I thought it was really cool. We got to go to we went to Colton, which was super fun, and we saw their amazing ag shop. And then we went to St. John Endicott, which was really cool. I come from a big high school, so it was kind of cool to go to a high school that's smaller and more tight-knit, and I thought it was a cool district to visit.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We went to Pomeroy that week too. That was a lot of fun too. So that was all in all a great visit. Throughout the whole week, we had great visits each time. So
yeah, we did.
I remember we were still nailing down our workshops at the time, and I remember sitting in Pullman the night before our chapter visit, kind of like stressing out about like what workshops we're gonna do in the morning. And like Austin and I sat down and we really like nailed down the self-care workshop. Like at this member's house, we just really like got after it and made it so good. And I don't know why that stuck in my brain, but that was so fun.
We also made corsages at the Clarkston FFA chapter, which was awesome.
I
super
forgot about
cool.
that.
You have to
Yeah,
help
because she
them.
was like, "Oh, you had Mr. Mackay. You know how to make these."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
In Waitsburg, they made Kendall and I these cute little like 3D printed
Oh,
emblems with our name and position. That's what I'm trying to say. Position on them, and it was so cute.
was
yeah,
it this thing? Or no, this is a
Aw.
different.
no, it was like an FFA emblem, and it had like our name and.
Oh yeah. I
Kendall,
remember
you
that.
and I got those during week 1, I think. That
Oh,
one.
that could be. I know the one you're talking about, though, Mara. It was like a really like detailed FFA emblem. That was so cool. Actually, I think that's at my Nana's house because she's gonna put it in my scrapbook from this year.
Aw, that's so cute.
When we visited Colton, Mr. Moore made Devin and I stickers of like, it had like our picture on it and it said, "This is us." That was so cool. I had that on my hydro flask for a while.
Okay, what about D7?
I love D7. I had never been up there and like, I just thought the scenery was pretty. Mara and I decided that we're gonna move to Pateris.
Oh my gosh. Was that the place that you stayed in the barn?
Yes, Mr. Blackburn's house. That was so fun. Pateris was a good visit.
And then we went to, what was the name of that chapter that's like right next to it? I can't think of it.
Yeah. Oh, dang it. Now I can't.
It's on like the tip of my tongue. What the heck?
Brewster.
Brewster. Okay, yes.
Brewster.
They were awesome too. We had
Yeah,
like
they were.
ribs for dinner or something the night before.
Yeah.
They were so good.
Oh
They were just
my
like
gosh,
super
you guys
energetic
lit
throughout
it
the whole
up.
visit too. Yeah.
You guys had quite a few chapter visits that week. I think you guys had like 3. But wasn't that the week, Devin, that you and I only had 1 visit?
Yeah, we only had 1 visit up in Mansfield.
That was fun,
Actually,
though.
That was a really fun visit.
That was a good day. I remember I was sick, and this is like the worst memory, but I was like sick, kind of like not that bad. But Devin, I like was like, "Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom really quick," and I came walking back in, and Devin in front of the entire class was like, "You don't look good. Like everyone, stay away from her."
Devin!
Oh my gosh.
She was really pale, okay? I was
How is
actually
that?
concerned.
Yeah.
I was concerned.
You announced your concern to the whole class.
Well, there was like 3 people in there. It was hard to keep. Anyway, I'm
It
sorry.
was so
Hannah.
funny.
I remember right, me and Austin were paired together for this week, and I was driving, and I think it was like the first time I drove Austin, and we were heading to Wenatchee, and like my car started doing like weird stuff, and like weird lights were coming on, and so we had to like pull over at this gas station. There was like no service. We had to try to figure out how to fix it, and then once we finally got driving again, I drove like straight through a roundabout, and Austin was like freaking out because I kept like hitting curves and I backed into a rock, and it was a disaster, but all of the really fun chapter visits made up for the stress of my driving, so it evened out.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
we got to watch a volleyball game in Chelan, and they're like
That was
have
fun.
really good volleyball players. So it was awesome, and it was what is it? Was it camo night? It was pretty epic. It was pretty epic.
Yeah, they have some mad school spirit in Chelan. That was crazy. Yeah,
District 4 was a good district.
Mm-hmm.
it was. I remember we stayed for Finley. We stayed with Tyson,
Yeah.
and like his mom made like really good tater tot casserole, and we were laughing like way too much. It was so
Yeah.
much fun.
We sat at that dinner table for like probably a good hour just laughing.
Yeah, good times, good times.
I was with Mara during District 4, and I'm trying to, like, we went, it was all like pretty close to my house, which was super funny. Like, I guess I knew that I was close to District 4, but like I didn't realize how close. Like, we went to Columbia Burbank, which was literally like 45 minutes from my house and stuff. So it was really interesting to see like how close it was to D6 without necessarily realizing it. But then we also did go to Goldendale, which was super fun. I have some cousins in Goldendale, so that was kind of cool to see them during the chapter visit.
It was a really awesome district. I remember we had to like go back to your house and then like come back because we had to figure out how to get me home afterwards. That was so crazy. But Columbia Burbank, they were really awesome. Like the homestay, we like stayed up and watched movies, and I really felt like we were having like a super awesome sleepover. It was so much fun.
Yeah, it was. And they fed us like these huge potatoes that were really good, like baked potatoes. It's Columbia Burbank, so obviously we got potatoes. But that was fun. But I also remember when we like came back to Walla Walla, because we were in like Tri-Cities or something, and we came back to Walla Walla to grab your truck, and we needed a few supplies, so we went to Walmart and College Place, and that's when we got like the huge pack of markers for the workshop tote. That was like $3. I just remember that. That was a good deal.
Always exciting when you find a deal.
Yes.
Abby, do you remember Kamayakin and like they had the rabbit projects and just like
Yes,
they
and
had
the fish
a really cool
tanks.
setup.
Yeah, they really did.
That was super cool.
Mm-hmm.
I
And they
remember.
like members could like take a rabbit home to like babysit it over the weekend, and that could count as their SAE.
Yes, I thought that was really cool.
I would do that in a heartbeat.
Oh, me too. I love rabbits.
I remember in our first chapter visit, well, we had this awesome homestay with a student named Carson, and they made us carne asada and then took us out to a bakery at like 10 o'clock at night. That was open until like midnight, and then that was at Pasco. And the next day we had like an awesome chapter visit. That was Devin and I.
I remember you guys Snapchatting us pictures of that bakery.
Yeah, I was like,
Oh,
where are
yeah.
you in Pasco at midnight?
It was really fun. That was probably one of my most memorable homestays. And then even that whole week, Austin and I had a great time throughout the whole visit. But yeah, like I think that homestay was a time where there's a story that involves a thumb that was in a jar.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Joe, yeah, Joe, the missing thumb.
Yep, that was funny.
And then we also went to Chiawana that week, which was awesome. They took us to.
Like,
they took
was
us
it Chuck E.
to-
Cheese or something?
It was like a Shakey's or something. I don't even know, but it was awesome.
That was fun.
We went to the arcade, yeah, with the chapter officers.
Yeah, that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Kendall, do you remember in Cleellum when we went to that really cute coffee shop and they had like all the super cute Hydro Flask stickers?
Yes. Okay, I remember that. I saw Cleom and I was like, I know that place, but I couldn't like put a memory with it. But like now I'm starting to remember.
Yeah.
That was so fun.
It was.
I think it was like a member took us there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like planning period or something, and he's like, "Hey, want to go get coffee?" And I was like, "Not gonna say no to coffee."
Yeah, and we stayed with Grace.
Yeah, she had a really cool house.
She did. It was super cool. It was like a cabin, but they lived in it all year round. So the next one was District 5. That was coming off of National Convention.
Oh yeah, our first visit. They're not technically part of D5, but our first visit was the four of us: Mara, Austin, and Hannah Ruth. We went to Prosser.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think it was Mara and Austin forgot the workshop towing process.
It was me. I'm gonna be dead honest. I'm gonna take the blame on that one.
No, it was Austin. I'm pointing fingers in this one. It was definitely definitely Austin, because I had no idea it wasn't in the truck, because he opened the back door and like put it in. I thought he put something in my truck, and then we get to a gas station and he's like, yeah, so I forgot the workshop tote. And I'm like, I like looked in the back seat like, what? How is that even possible?
Yeah, I had a call because last year Walla Walla had a student teacher, Miss Theodonic, and she's now teaching in Prosser. So she like texted me or called me and was like, there's this black wheelie thing that you guys left here. And I just remember that because like me and Abby were driving to like Spokane or something that night. So we were like far going from Prosser.
I think we were going to Cusick, so we were going like way up north.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
And
I'm also going to
Austin.
point my finger at someone that day. Kendall, do you remember this one? No? Okay, how about the Freeman chapter visit?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I locked my keys in the car. That was so embarrassing. And Devin really saved me on that one. That D5 was honestly a super chaotic week, but it was also really fun. And I remember like we went to Harrington, and me and Devin just thought that was really cool because Harrington is like right in the middle of Ritzville and Davenport. So it was like extra special that we got to go and do that visit together and like see some familiar faces.
Yeah.
That's
Awesome. Austin and I went to Davenport, and that was a super fun chapter visit. Like they were all like super engaged and exciting, and that made it so much fun. And we had like tacos from a super good taco truck, and that kind of just made the whole day.
I remember I was paired with Abby, and we had like all these chapter visits. We stayed at Kendall's house, and then we had like a 1 hour in the morning chapter visit in Spokane. Yeah, and like when we got done with the hour, we were like all like up and ready to go, and so we went shopping, and that was literally so much fun because it was like right before like Christmas or something, I forget, and so like things were like on sale, and it was just such a stress relief. We went to like Hobby Lobby, and I don't know, like it was just super fun.
Yeah. And that chapter visit was fun because East Valley was they're kind of a newer chapter, but they were just like so excited about FFA and everything we were doing, and we had a little like coffee breakfast with them in the morning.
Yeah, it was fun.
What is it? I went to the Deer Park chapter with Hannah Ruth, and it was really cool because the night before they had a CTE meeting, and so all of the career and technical student organizations like were showcasing all their work. So they had DECA and FFA and a bunch of other stuff, and it was just awesome going through all of it. We got to see laser engravers. In their DECA, they made their own coffee. It was super cool.
Yeah, we got a bunch of free stuff that night. We got like our own coffee, and then we got like a cool keychain that I like use all the time. And then we got to make our own flower arrangements, but it was really like not great because it died by the time I got home because I got crushed by all my like stuff in the truck. And so I was so sad. I was just like, aw. It was fun to make. I'd never done that before. So.
What was after D5? What
District 8.
was it? D8?
Yeah.
That was a good week.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah, Devin and I got out on a rough start because I was sick, but
It was definitely a rough start.
it ended up being a good week.
Yep, I went solo the first visit, and then after that, Abby.
White Salmon, right?
Yeah, that was a fun chapter. We had an amazing homestay. It was very accommodating, so that was great. And then, yeah, we had Hudson's Bay, Battleground, and we had a lot of fun that week.
Yeah, that was a good. And we had, all I remember is we had the best like chicken noodle soup and grilled cheese at our Hudson's Bay homestay. And it was like after I was sick, it was such a good dinner. Oh,
So good.
I remember that.
I think I was paired with Austin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just remember that week, we had some really cool chapter visits, but like that's when we were like going back and forth, wasn't it? Like across the entire state, we just kept going like I don't know. It was crazy. Like, we were like on the other side of the state and then like Wenatchee and then back and then, yeah, it was nuts.
Did you guys have like a state contest that week?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
we
why
had
we kept
potato
going
and
back and
tractor.
forth. Mm-hmm.
I remember we went to Prairie, and that was an awesome chapter visit. That's where you met Hope.
Yeah, Prairie's where I met Hope. That was a really good chapter visit. And then I remember going from potato to tractor, we like went over White Pass super, super late. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what time it was.
Yeah.
And then we stayed in a hotel, which was kind of cool. Like the chapter paid for us to stay in a hotel. That was like Castle Rock, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. Yeah, that week was really fun. I was with Mara, and it was kind of like once we had the hang of everything, we were in a really good rhythm of chapter visits, and workshops were kind of just like a habit and memorize at that point. So nice to just relax and not have to feel like we had to prep a bunch, and there was a lot of really good laughs. And also for the Fort Vancouver visit, the advisor there was super nice to us, and I think she even let me like park my car at her house when me and Mara need to like go to a different visit and stuff. So it was just like full of a lot of really nice people, and it was a chill week.
They had like chickens and a super like gigantic greenhouse, and we got to help them move some dirt around, and that was really fun. I felt like it was just exciting to kind of get my hands a little dirty after being like not get to do that for quite a long time. So that was really fun, and I remember Kendall and I just had like an awesome week. We got to stay with Megan Gould's family, which is super fun. I love staying at like past state officers' homes because they're just like so welcoming, and they totally understand everything, and they're just like arms open, and it's always really fun to get to stay. We had a really good chili lunch on at one of the chapter visits. I think it was like Tootle Lake. A lot of chili. It was so good.
It was really good. I remember that. District 2, everybody.
District 2 was fun. That was Abby's home district, and I was with her, so that was super cool because we actually got to spend most of the week at Abby's house, which is always fun. Like, it's fun to stay at people's houses, but it's always fun to be able to stay at one person's house consecutively, especially towards the end of chapter visits, because then you don't have to like pack up your things every single day. So that was super good. And I remember we had a team chapter visit. Like, all of us got to go to Yelm, which was super fun. And I told this story on my live the other night, but I remember like me and little Abby had like an afternoon chapter visit, and then all of us were meeting up for a dinner at Yelm, and like all of you guys like got dressed at like Abby's house, and like it was all fine. So then Abby and I got there later, and Kendall, I see her, I give her a hug because I hadn't seen her in like a week, and she's like, "I'm wearing your socks." And she was literally wearing my socks. Like, I thought that maybe I bought her socks. She literally was wearing my socks at this person's house.
Yeah, I just kind of snatched them up, slipped those bad Larrys on. I was in desperate need, okay? I always forgot socks because, like, when you're wearing officials, you don't need socks. Like, if you wear heels and nylons, and then, like, I would need to wear my Twisted X and would not have any socks.
Yeah. It was funny because it did happen. And like, then I was like, Kendall, you went through my bag and grabbed my socks. And you're like, no, I didn't. I knew where they were.
Yeah, I wasn't really scrummaging. Like, I knew where to find. Experience. Okay.
I remember our first,
Go ahead,
Go for
Abby.
it.
I was gonna say, Hannah Ruth and I's first visit that week was at Mount Si, and they had just got a new high school, so they had a really cool ag classroom. We kind of got lost though because their high school is like multiple stories and we didn't know where to go. And Hannah Ruth also, we were just casually walking down the hallway, like no big deal, just walking. And all of a sudden, Hannah Ruth is no longer beside me, and I look behind me, and she face planted on the floor in the hallway of this high school, just normally walking, falls flat on her face.
Those shoes always trip me. Like, I think I bought the wrong size. Because I tripped so much in those shoes. Those were like, I don't know. I think I was wearing my first pair of shoes during that one.
Oh, I don't know why, but
Blame it on the shoes.
was the shoe's fault. I do
District-
remember that though. And then we went to another chapter and we got into like traffic because there was like an accident maybe or something like that. But traffic was like going through Yelm. And I remember getting in traffic and we were like so stressed out and we were like a couple minutes late. Like not even that late, but we were like a couple minutes late and like we were freaking out.
I think that was North Kitsap.
Yeah, North Kitsap, you're right.
Yeah, District 2 is like one of the most memorable weeks of chapter visits for me, I think. Like all the visits were really smooth. And then it was also really fun because on Friday we were all at Abby's house and I think on Thursday too. And Abby made us like dinner and we were watching Christmas movies, even though it was November. And I remember we were all like super sad to leave each other and we were like, we just should spend Thanksgiving together. And then like speaking of Thanksgiving, me and Austin went to Enumclaw and they were having their chapter meeting that night. And so they did this thing where each chapter officer had a meeting that they were in charge of hosting, and they tried to like outdo each other to see who could throw the best meeting. And so the meeting that we were at was the Thanksgiving one, and so they had chickens that members had raised, and then they butchered them and they were like serving that at their like FFA like Thanksgiving dinner. It was super cool.
Oh, that's really
Wow.
cool.
That's really cool.
I remember when we were at Abby's house, we made that one TikTok about Thanksgiving, and that's still my favorite TikTok.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Oh yeah.
Adam Sandler one, yeah.
I remember this week I was with Devin and North Thurston was our first chapter visit, and it was just like really awesome and awesome members there. And then we went to Fife and we had with the team. Fife was also really cool, and we got to go to their barn and see their pigs. And I had shown with some people in Fife before. They all graduated out, but like I kind of knew their program a little bit, and so it was really cool to go and see that. And then Sumner, and then Devin got sick at Sumner, so I was really excited for Sumner because they were all super awesome and like super. I was like, this is some of my best facilitation. It's going amazing, but poor Devin was like in the corner, like hunched over, and I'm like, okay, we need to do something because like every time Devin was not feeling it, he'd just like look at me and I'd like take over. And so we ended up leaving that one a little early. I was really excited though to go back hopefully in the spring. And then when that didn't happen, I was like, my heart was broken. I was like, come on, this can't be happening. They were really a good.
That was too bad. Summer was a really fun visit.
Yeah.
So.
Hannah Ruth and I went to Squim and Quilcene in the same day, and at Squim we got to make flower bouquets, so that was nice. I got to bring home like a centerpiece for Thanksgiving, and my mom was so happy. And then at Quilcene they had like, we just went for like a lunchtime meeting, but they had like chili dogs and they were playing music and they were so hyped. Like that was the most energy I had seen in a long time. That was it.
That was fun. The Squim, we both made those little flower arrangements, and those flower arrangements were like so cool in the TikTok too. I also remember that my mom used to have a boss that now they live up in Squim, so like the wife came and found me, which was super fun. And I remember that because I was like so happy, and like for some reason that week kind of got to be like a long week for me. And like it was like a really weird time in that chapter visit kind of season, because like we were like on for like 1 week and then like nothing and then like on again, and so like I just remember that being like a really hard time for me. So then like seeing someone from Walla Walla, that was like super cool. And we got really good drink at the coffee shop by Squim High School. So
yeah.
And then the next week we were up north in D1.
Yeah.
Yeah, D1 was fun. I was with Kendall, and it's always fun to be on chapter visits with Kendall, with everyone really, but it was an adventure. I remember, yes, we started off our week by going up to Cedro Woolley, and we like stopped at a really cool outlet mall, which was really fun because we went shopping. We bought like matching vests. I think she got a gray one and I got like a maroon one or something. I don't remember. But anyways, that was really fun. And then we went down and we stayed with one of my advisors in Monroe, which that was really fun. And then we ferried down from there and met, who was it? It was like Abby and Devin, I think, at Elma. And we all 4 went to Elma and then ferried back up.
Yeah,
Elma
that
had
was
a really cool, sorry, Kendall.
no, go ahead.
I was just say Elma had that really cool like holiday chapter meeting, and we had a cookie decorating contest. I ate so many cookies that night, it's not even funny.
That was really fun.
Yeah, on our way down there though, I got like super sick. Like we went to Burger King, and I don't know really what happened, but I remember I was so sick, and like we got in the car to go to that thing the night before at our chapter, and I was like, Kendall, like I do not feel good. Like this is not good at all. And then we went and we had like all this like cookies and frosting and like all this stuff, and I was like, I can't do it. And I just remember one of the chapter members, like I was trying to get Devin to eat my cookie, and the chapter member was like, I'll eat it. So like some random chapter member ate my cookie.
Yeah, that was a super good week. I like one that stands out from that week was our Linden visit. And I remember we stayed in like separate homestays, and my homestay, her family owned a bakery, and so like it was like after the bakery was already closed, she like took me to the bakery and we got treats, and then like we watched movies, and we had like dinner that night with the chapter officers, and it was just a really good week.
Yeah, and we got woods. We were back in an area that had woods.
I remember in that week, Stanwood, me and Austin got to go bowling with them, and that was pretty fun. I hadn't been bowling there for a long time, and so it was just kind of fun to like go hang out and go bowling with them. And then before we left the next morning, we got to have breakfast with the chapter officers, and they're all like super nice, and it was fun to talk to them, and so that was exciting.
I remember that was a pretty light week for us, and so we only had Arlington on Monday. And I remember there was a group, we were doing a workshop, and there was this group dead set on having like non-removable horseshoes for their horses that would like gloss on. And I was just like fighting with them on like, that wouldn't work. And I really hope that they see this video because I still think that.
Yeah, Austin spent a lot of that workshop just arguing with them about how that wouldn't work.
Devin and I had a really good D1 week too. I said earlier, Hannah Ruth and I were at Mount Si. We were at Tahoma, and Devin and I were at Mount Si, but the two high schools are very similar because they're both brand new. But Mount Si was cool because they had like I don't know if it was like a culinary arts class, but like class like worked in the kitchen, and they like made us lunch, and they have like their own student like restaurant at their school. It was really cool.
That was really cool. That high school in general was awesome.
Yeah. Their greenhouse, they had like rooftop greenhouses. It was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went to Ferndale, and we played sardines.
Oh, yes. And
Ferndale
then
High
School.
Yeah.
Remember the bunny?
Yes, it peed on me. But it was cute because it was a baby bunny, so it was fine.
I got
Ferndale got us back to back. So like Kendall and I went one day, and then you guys went the next day. That bunny was really cute, but I remember we met you guys to like hang out, and like I don't think we were working on anything. I think we were just hanging out at Woods. And I remember that like I had mentioned something about sardines, and little Abby only had like heels with her.
No, that was the week I forgot my heels, so I only had black flats. And Devin made fun of me the whole week because he knew I was upset that I forgot my heels at home.
Oh my! I couldn't remember. I knew you only had one pair of shoes because you had to squeeze into my Twisted X because you were like, I cannot play sardines in these shoes, and you're 2 sizes bigger than me.
It worked though.
It did.
They were fine.
Yeah.
Devin and I also went to Meridian that week, and that was such a fun chapter visit. We played Uno with the chapter officers at lunch, and we spent like our workshop just like chatting with the members. It was so fun.
That was really fun. That was a great chapter.
Mm-hmm. I think that brings us to our last district.
Yeah.
D3. Yeah.
Yes, very.
We still
I-
have some chapters.
This
in
was
this
my home district, and it was a lot of fun. I remember going to Adna with Hannah Ruth. It's exciting that I was with Hannah Ruth because we stayed at my house a couple times, and it was just really fun. And we went to Adna, and it was the first time me and Hannah Ruth had been together in what felt like decades. And so at first, when we like got together, we were just like super like, I don't know, like noses in the air, and you're like, okay, this is so weird. I haven't seen you forever, and I feel like everybody's saying, I don't know. It was just fun to be at like close to home, and I knew a lot of people there, and it was fun to be able to experience that with Hannah Ruth. And then we missed out on an opportunity to hang out with the whole team, which is super bummer because me and Hannah Ruth went to town with my cousins because they go to Adna, and then Abby and Kendall like showed up. They called us or something, and so we were in McDonald's, Walmart or something. With the boys, and we're like, "Where are you guys at? Where you should come hang out?" And they were like, "I don't remember what you guys were doing, but you guys know."
Well, and then we found out later that they really were in the area, and like we definitely had an opportunity to hang out as a team, and like
Yeah.
I don't know how we did not coordinate that properly. I don't know. That didn't work out. But I do remember the McDonald's because I told your cousin, like, you were on the phone, and I was like, are you hungry? Because I'm really hungry. And she was like, yeah, I'm hungry. And I was like, okay, we're just going to walk towards the McDonald's and see if, like, Mara says anything. And so I bought your cousin McDonald's because I was like, I'm hungry, and Mara can't say no because she's on the phone.
Yeah,
I remember that all too well.
D3 was an eventful week. Me and Abby kept getting lost on the way to chapter visits, and it was just crazy. One night that was really fun was when we went to one of the Rochester advisors' house, and all the advisors were there and all the chapter officers, and the chapter officers made us a really nice dinner and like some bomb brownies, and we played Uno and just hung out for like a couple hours, and it was so much fun to just like relax and hang out with members like outside of school.
Were they Australian Shepherd puppies?
Something
What
like
were
that.
they?
Yeah.
They were like brand new puppies, and so Kendall and I just held puppies the whole night. It was the best. And then we went caroling with the Chehalis FFA chapter.
Yeah.
That was so fun. I love caroling, so that was a good time.
That was such a good time. That was a good one.
I remember Devin and I, we had a lot of good chapters that week. We went to Rainier, and we got to see like their entire supply of floriculture supplies and horticulture supplies, and it was pretty amazing. And we also went to Nino, and that was pretty awesome too. And we got to have, do you remember the restaurant that we went to? We got to have Mexican food the night before with the chapter officers.
Don
Yeah.
Juan's?
Yeah, that was the one.
I think that's right.
That place is
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, we had Shelton that week, which was cool. My cousins are from Shelton, so I got to see them. And then Toledo as well. So we had a really fun week that week.
Okay, I just remembered this, Hannah. We went to State Apple in Wenatchee. So we were supposed to have Willapa Valley, and then like Willapa Valley is like in close to Raymond, which is like out by the coast. We were like way out there, and then drive all the way to Wenatchee. Drive all the way to Wenatchee, and then to Snohomish. Well, our Willapa Valley one got canceled, and we were like, thank you, because we were really panicked about how we were gonna drive over the pass like super late at night. So it ended up being really fun, but I remember that it was stressful.
Yeah, and then I remember we had to like call Miss Butcher like 24 hours in advance and get a homestay in Monroe, which ended up being really good. Like she wasn't even home, and so like she was like, "Well, my husband and kids are at home," and so we just stayed with like Miss Butcher's family when she wasn't even home, 24 hours in advance. But it ended up being really good, and we went to we stopped in Leavenworth. And we took all those really cute pictures. That was so much fun.
Pictures.
That was a good time.
It was like my dream come true because it was snowing and it was dark, so all the lights were on, and oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then Snohomish, Miss Abby had surprised us with a little bottle of sparkling cider. And then we met up with Sethy Tea, and we had the cider with Sethy Tea.
Yes, cider and coffee was best.
That was
I
a good
think-
week.
I think it's safe to say that we were able to be a part of a lot of really impressive chapter events and witness a lot of really cool things and meet a lot of really cool people. And a lot of these things I had kind of like forgot about, so it was fun to walk through it with you guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Feels
You
like it
get
was
so caught
long
up in the
ago.
moment when it's happening, so it's good to reminisce.
Yeah.
Yes. We have some good districts in Washington.
Yes.
For sure.
So I'll stop the recording.
I was going to say,